Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Defiant Spur, and yeah, long time no see. You may have noticed I haven't put out any content at all for about 2 months now. I've been busy, got a new job, been in hospital, had surgery. Quite a chaotic couple of months. So yeah, about time I threw out some content, and here's a review on a tank I won in a competition. The Rheinmetall Skorpion G Tier 8 German Tank Destroyer. Now, this tank is based on the Panther chassis, which means, unlike the Panther, well, my experiences of the Panther, this thing has zero mobility, and it maneuvers like a slug on lettuce. The turret traverse is really slow, the gun depression is lackluster at 7 degrees. The alpha is okay, and relatively reliable, at chucking out the high numbers, and the pen's alright. The model, I like the model, it's a nice looking tank. And yeah, it's got some nice detail work to it. I like how you can look inside the back of the turret there, and you can see the little chairs, you can see the bottom of the basket, which the crew would be standing in. It's a nice model, it's one of the nicer looking premium tanks out there. Certainly better than the auto-loading Borsig they chucked out, which was just the Borsig model. Anyway, I've heard amazing things about this tank. Loads of people have done reviews on it and thrown out amazing games. So let's see what it's like in the hands of a average player, being me. As usual, it's going to be a zero skill crew. I think by the time most of this footage was taken, they were actually up to 100% trained, which is rare for me. I try to keep them as rookies when I'm doing these review videos, so you've all got a worst case scenario at the performance of this vehicle. Anyway, let's get into the combat footage and let's see how it goes. I'd just like to send a big shout out to the Turkey tank. He was running the competition, which I won to get this tank. So go watch his content, he's great.
Target locked. Using the optics, Commander. Engine is smoking. Releasing target. Enemies got us in their sights. Target locked. That one drilled straight. Ready to fire on target. Focus attention here. Enemies looking right at us. Enemies looking right at us. We're done. We've got enemies incoming. Either take them
Okay,
out
now
or
this is
capture
pretty
their
much a
base.
perfect
Let's go.
matchup for this tank. We're tier 8, and it's a map which has a lovely alley of death, with this little valley over here. So I'm going to sit here, park behind some bushes, and pop up my binocs and hope that the tanks in front of me will rush to the corner, will light up the reds, and then I can reap some damage. Now this was my first game that I'd actually played in 2 months, so this is quite recent footage. And I'm not too happy that the Borsig is sitting behind me there. I generally get a bit cranky when people try to use me for cover, so I reposition off over here. I don't normally like coming over this side of this map. I tend to find it leaves you with very little room to manoeuvre. And Artie likes to drop a lot of hell over here too. So I'm just sitting here and watching to see what the hell everybody else is doing.
I see one of them.
Making sure that medium tank is going to sit behind me. Blind shot. Yeah, it didn't do much. And here we see the slow reload. And hopefully in a minute you see a good example of the slow aim time on the tank as well. Now I'm very conscious now that the light tanks are pushing up really hard. Almost as if there's some type of op-on maybe to do with light tanks, who knows. Okay, so I'm spotted. I know I'm a fat juicy target for a lot of tanks. Everybody knows I've got squishy armour and die very easily. And nobody's doing anything about these light tanks. Just letting them get into the backfield as per usual. I mean, I know nobody likes artillery, but you know, come on, they're on our team. And the more tanks we have, the better. Managed to get off a nice unaimed shot into that AMX over there. Oh, hurry up and load, and boom, finish him off. Now somebody's lighting me up a lot. So I'm just going to sit here for a little bit. I'm in no hurry.
Focus on this area.
What can I see? What can I see? Decide to push forward a little bit. We need to take this corner.
Enemies looking right at us.
Lit up. Running away. See how slow this tank is? It's terrible. And especially when you consider it's quite slow and doesn't have much in the way of armour, or any armour. Again, I think my playstyle isn't suited for a lot of the German tank destroyers. I either prefer high mobility tank destroyers, like the British turreted ones, or big grunty assault tanks, like the turretless British or the turretless Chinese TDs. So I decide, sod it, let's just charge in. Tally-ho, chaps. Do I get a shot on you? No, somebody else does.
We lost a friendly vehicle.
No. My initial thoughts here were to just push round this corner and hopefully pull the rest of my team with me. That medium though, he could give me trouble. And there's a lot of greens here, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go around the corner anyway.
They've spotted us.
I'm very conscious that our eastern flank is folding, so I'll move up here, hopefully get some shots in. So far, considering the losses we've got, I have done atrociously. A tiny bit of spotted, a tiny bit of actual alpha.
Ready to fire on target.
See, gun depression, non-existent. Okay, who am I going to spank?
Dropping target. He's gone. Find us another
Yeah,
target.
350. And it didn't hit his tracks, which is nice. Oh, VK 100p.
Fire on target.
It's a big lump of steel.
Punched a hole in
Ooh,
their
450. Nice. Almost 10-second reload. Yeah, I'll be able to get that down with more equipment and crew skills and stuff, but it's so slow. Back of the turret. There we go. That was a big hitter on their team taken out. And now it's just a case of taking out these guys down here. I've got a little medium off to my right there, and hopefully I can use him to help spot where they are, and hopefully they'll be distracted more by him than they will by me.
Target locked.
Again, gun depression isn't great. And, yeah, you can tell I hadn't played for a while. I've been quite nervous here.
Unlocking target.
Generally mistrusting of having any support by my teammates if I did decide to aggressively push in, which really I shouldn't be doing in this tank anyway, but hey, there's a reason why I'm only average.
Locked on.
No, I can't shoot him!
Enemies looking
No,
right
gun
at us.
depression! Oh, he's looking at me. Back. Just him left, his friend's dead. How do you?
That one
Oh, no, I
straight
didn't.
through.
Hey, everybody else did.
job,
Yeah.
men.
Not too bad. I mean, that was pretty much an ideal situation for this tank, really. A relatively open map, a nice corridor you can channel the enemy into, and some room for manoeuvring around, especially for a tank with this limited manoeuvrability. And yeah, chucked out an alright bit of damage, got a kill. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. On to the next battle.
We've got enemies
Okay,
in
here
the
we have a
area.
good example
Take 'em down or
of
capture their base.
a tier 10 match. Bottom tier, and this is one of the few times I actually get this version of Himmelsdorf. Sorry, Berlin. Yeah, my driving was a bit shabby to start off with. Decided to go to the railway tracks. Tends to be where you can have some good luck. Well, as a mobile tank destroyer, you can have some good games. And I didn't want to get into a brawling match with the bigger tier 10s, which will be going up onto the hill. Okay, look how slowly this thing turns. Oh, it's like treacle. Unfortunately, a lot of the Reds decided they were going to come down this way as well. So yay for being bottom tier.
Target
Straight
locked.
away. Where did that hill come from? That's not there on the normal map.
Optics are up.
Spank that little bat chap for a little bit of damage. And to be fair, I managed to pull back fast enough that he didn't clip me. Now I don't know if that's just because he was still reloading or if he was bothered by more important things. Now I was using my headset a lot during this match, just letting people know that we've got a lot of Reds coming down this side, and ow, they hit me hard.
Concentration.
But I didn't die straight away, which is good.
All Allied artillery has been obliterated.
Realistically, I'm not too sure
Releasing target.
if I would just abandon this flank at this point if I was playing another game. I wasn't feeling hopeful that we were going to do too well. They were pushing hard here, and looks like there was a lot of Reds coming down the other flank. I wasn't feeling optimistic. I was also trying to get the ISM to pull back a little bit because he was going to get surrounded.
Enemy's got us in their
Nice hit on
sights.
him. Not too sure why he just stopped in the middle of the open there. That's the type of moronic thing that I would do. And this bad chat does it as well, because I would just like, AMX, and I miss.
The engine is cutting out.
That so annoyed me.
We're immobilized.
And yeah, at this point, I'm accepting my death.
They spotted us. That one
Yeah.
drove straight through.
Right through the shot. Boom, I'm dead.
Bail out. This vehicle's
But
tagged.
I had been able to delay them for about 20 seconds, which might not sound much for a bottom tier tank. That's not bad. And just flicked around and see what the rest of my team was doing. I actually decided to stay in and see how we'd do in this game. I know my contribution is over, but I wanted to see if if the other tanks would realise how precarious their rear ends were. And this chap here was doing a very good job at communicating, and his map awareness was really good as well. He really did know what was going on, so I decided to backseat in him. Yeah, so overall my impressions of this tank. I think if you like the German tank destroyers, especially the turreted ones, you will really, really like the Skorpion. I think its gun handles possibly a little bit better than the Rheinmetall Skorpion G. But I am very biased. I didn't find the Rheinmetall Skorpion G an enjoyable tank to play, or the Waffenträger at tier 9. At some point I'm going to go back to the German tank destroyer line and actually have a go at playing them. Yeah, now I have progressed as a player. I mean, I've learnt a lot since, well, gosh, that must have been like 3 years ago. I ground that tank destroyer line. Burnt a bit of free XP to do it as well, which is never a good thing to do. It just means you end up in the higher tiers with none of the skills or experience to back you up. the Skorpion does suffer by not being particularly stealthy and not really having very good eyes on it. And I'm not too sure why they did that. I mean, I don't know if it's to trade off with the gun, but yeah, I mean the Rheinmetall Skorpion is, I believe, has better optics. I could be wrong about that, but you know, it always seemed to be a very, very dangerous sniping tank. Whereas I think the Skorpion, if you've got the room to manoeuvre and the time to manoeuvre, I think it can be an amazing tank. It certainly is an amazing tank. It's just a tank I probably have to put a little bit more effort into to get it to live up to its capabilities. I mean, as you can see, bottom tier chucked out 2,000 damage, which it's not great, but it's more than my hits. I didn't kill anybody, but yeah, I did contribute in a positive way. I think that's all you can do sometimes. So yeah, overall, if you like the German tank destroyers, buy this tank. Definitely buy this tank, and that's about all there is to say, really. Yeah. So I hope you learnt something from this video. At least got a glimpse of what the tank can do in inexperienced hands like myself. And if you want to like, comment, subscribe, that would be awesome. Yeah, now I'm out of hospital, I'm going to be throwing out a lot more content. May even do the long-awaited Ariete Progetto tank review I promised months ago, as well as the Foch 155 and the countless other tanks I had lined up for review. I think my tier 10 Chinese tank destroyer video is pretty much good to go. I'd like to give it a little bit of a dust over and see if there's anything I want to change before I chuck that out, but maybe I'll chuck that out next week, see how it goes. Anyway, thank you all, and yeah, it's good to be back tanking. Take care, everybody.